So hello guys, today I will be recording and trying to explain to you guys about the first problem of the 1990 contest, and it is a Division 2 contest. So let's start. I have noticed that a lot of people, including me, have get the wrong answer at the beginning of this code because we didn't understand thoroughly about this problem. So let's try to understand the problem. I believe that before uh, watching this tutorial, you guys have all read about the code. So I will try to summarize it as short as possible. This is a kind of game, and we have Alice and Bob. So we have an array of size n, and including a lot of elements, and our mission is to try and you guys can understand that we are Alice and we are trying to win this game. So we can choose an index e, and it must be larger than a variable called mx. So at the beginning, mx is 0, and after each and we must pick an index after each turn that is larger or equal to mx. And if uh, one person can't pick an index or an element, then that person loses the game, right? So let's try to understand about the test cases, right? Here, let me, okay, let me explain it to you guys, okay? For example, in the first test case here, right? 2, 1. We have an array of 2 elements, 2 and 1. So Alice will play this game first, and she will pick the number 2, right? So then mx will be 2, and this element is erased, right? So the next turn, Bob is trying to find an element that is larger or equal to 2, which is mx, and there isn't any. So in this round, Alice win. So we will print yes, right? In the next example, 1 1, right? So in this example, Alice will must pick one element, and it is 1, right? So mx after the first round is 1, and in the next turn, Bob will pick 1, and then there are no elements left in this array, and Alice will lose this game. So the output will be no, right? One more example so that you guys can understand more thoroughly, right? Okay, so in the third example, Alice could pick 4, right? So mx will be 4, and uh, yeah, mx will be 4, and then the array will only consist of one element that is equal or larger than mx, which is the last 4, and so Bob will choose this 4, and then Alice will lose this game, right? Okay, so if we code it normally, which is counting the maximum number of the largest element, which is 2 in this array, right? And we see that and I see that most people who got a wrong answer on this problem is that they think about this test case, about this problem is that if the number of maximum numbers is odd, which is 1, 3, or 5, we'll print Alice, right? And if it is even, 2, 4, 6, and etc., they will print no, which is Bob, right? But this explanation is not enough because there are a lot of test cases. Let me explain it to you guys. For example, we have an array which consists of like for example 3 3 1 1 1, right? So in this test case, the number of the maximum element is 2, right? Which is 2 trees. And if it is explained by the aforementioned explanation, we will print no in this test case because the number of max element is odd, right? Which is 2. But what can Alice do in order to win this game? Like for example, Alice could pick A one in the first turn, and then Bob, he shouldn't pick 3 because if he picked 3, then in the next turn Alice would pick the another 3, and then Bob will lose the game, right? So in order to play optimally, he must to pick another one, right? Bob here, and Alice will continue doing this, and she'll pick another one, and then Bob must pick 3 because there are no ones left, right? And then in the last element Alice will pick it, and then Alice will win the game. Also, the number of max element is 2, right? So Alice can still win the game despite of having the odd number in the max element, right? So how can we solve this problem? Okay, so let's look through my code. This is the input. I read the input here. Okay, and first and foremost, we will sort this vector or this array in order to make it run from the largest to the smallest elements, right? We'll use greater int j, right? So it is a reverse sort. And next we will run through the vector from 0 to n minus 1, right? And we will try to maintain a TMP, a temporary integer, and whenever the each element of the vector is equal to the e plus 1 element, we will increase temporary one in we will increase temporary one time, right? And if it is different, we will check if temporary is odd, then we will break and we will make OK equals to 0, and we will break this whole for loop, and then if OK is 0, we will print yes because the number of element is odd, right? And when it is odd, then Alice will win this game, right? And if it is even, then we will continue the temporary integer and we will make it 1 again, and we will run through all this for loop. And if this for loop ends and we don't find any elements which has the number of elements odd, then OK will still be 1, right? And if OK is 1, then we will count no, and by that way Bob will win this game, right? But there is one special test case, right? So for example, if we end this for loop and the last element is still the same as the second last element, right? So in that case, we haven't checked the temporary if it is even or odd, right? So whenever OK is still 1, it means that it hasn't been true here. And if the temporary is even, then we will print yes, and then we will continue and skip the last 3 sentences of this code, right? So that is the overall code that I want to share with you guys, and it may be a little bit difficult to understand. So if you guys are stuck somewhere in this code, you guys can comment below and I will try to explain it to you guys more carefully. Okay, so thank you for listening and good luck with your journey in CP.